Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's class. Well, in yesterday's class, as I remember, we were, I think, discussing points on spring potential energy. Is it correct? We were discussing spring potential energy. Do we remember this, everyone in the class? Can I have some raised hands? We were discussing spring potential energy. Yes or no? We had seen the spring potential energy is half kx squared, and we were discussing some points about spring potential energy. Um, we'd also seen work done by the spring is negative of the change in potential energy. That is already there. One more point that you must, should I do it here or okay, we can do it later on as well. Uh, we can do it later on. About springs, the two things that you must remember about springs, there are two types of combinations of spring. The first combination is known as the series combination of springs. The series combination of springs. Now, what is the series combination of spring? Well, now this will come in very handy. Yes, beta? I'm audible and visible to all of you? So, what is this series combination of springs? If I have two springs of force constant K1 and K2 attached like this, two springs K1 and K2 attached one after the other. Now, in this case, what happens? Remember, if I move this block by a distance x, yes, beta? Anyone is saying anything? I'm hearing voices. Am I hearing voices in my head? Is everyone there in the class? Can I have to just have raised hands from everyone in the class? Abraham is there, Tanu is there. Okay, what about the students in the offline class? Are we there, beta? Okay, I'm just hearing voices.
Yes, sir.
Well done, sir. Now I hear you nice and clear. Now remember what I'm telling you here. We might not require this much information in this chapter, but we'll be requiring in the next chapter. Simple harmonic motion, you will be probably requiring this. Now, we have two springs, K1 and K2, attached to a block. Now remember, whenever we are talking about springs, we are talking about two things in that spring. The first thing that we are talking about is the force in springs. If you look at the relation F is equal to Kx, that is the force in the spring, or I should say F is equal to minus Kx. Remember that if I move the spring by a distance x from its mean position, the spring exerts a force on the body and it is equal to minus kx. Why it is minus? Because it is opposite to displacement. So if the displacement is forwards, if I am pulling the block, the spring will try to pull it back. So it will be in the opposite direction. Spring can pull as well as push. If I stretch the spring, it will pull. If I compress the spring, it will push. That is why we have a negative sign. We all remember that. Now, there are two things that you must remember when you talk about springs. There are two things that we remember. The first thing is this force F. And the second thing is this displacement X. Because K is the spring constant and K is normally a constant because it is spring constant. If the spring is same, spring constant remains same. So they are worried about two things when we are talking about spring. One is the force in the spring and the other is the extension in the spring. There are two things that you must remember here. One is the force in the spring and the next one is the extension, oops, wrong color, extension or compression in the spring. These are the two things that we always think about when we think about springs. Am I clear with this? I'll give you 2 minutes. In that 2 minutes, please write up till here. Please make your notes up till here. I'll give you 2 minutes to write it so that I can move further ahead. I hope you have noted this thing down. Talk about springs. We are concerned with two things in spring. Now, in this series combination of springs, as you can see, if I move this block by a displacement or by a distance x, do you think that the two springs also get extended by the amount x? What I mean to say here, if I displace this block by x, does this spring K1 and K2 both, do they extend by x and x? Is that so? What is your thought? Do both the spring get extended by the same amount? What do you think? Both the spring get extended by the same amount. K1 spring get extended by x, K2 spring also get extended by x? No, that does not happen. Both springs have different extensions. If this spring has an displacement x1, this spring has a displacement x2. So in case of this series combination, what we happen, displacements or extensions is different in both the strings. They do not extend or compress by the same amount because that is not possible. That is not possible. In fact, if I look at x1, oops, wrong color. In fact, if I look at x1 and x2, there is a relation between x1, x2, and x. Now, applying some common sense, if K1 spring extends by x1 and K2 spring extends by x2 and the body extends or moves by x, can you tell me what will be the relation between x1, x2 and x? What can be the relation between x1, x2 and x? Anyone? What will be the relation between x1, x2 and x? Anyone has any idea in the class? What could be the relation? Well, the relation is very evident. X1 plus x2, if you add, that would be equal to x. The total displacement of the block x will be equal to x1 plus x2. Do we all understand this here? Do we all understand this here? Can I have some raise hand that we understand this? That x1 plus x2. Yes, beta? Do we all understand this? Okay. I hope we understand this. So we have talked about the extension in the spring. Let us now talk about the force in both the springs. If I say, let me use a different coloring, let me use the greening. Let us talk about the force. Now, if I say the force in the first spring is F1, remember I've extended the spring, so they will both try to pull each other. I mean, they will both try to pull the block. So both the forces will be in the backward direction. If I say that the forces in the spring are F1 and F2, F1 and F2, and I hope you are drawing the diagram at the same time that you are listening to this lecture. Do you have any idea what F1 and F2 would be like? Remember here, in this case, where the springs are attached like this, which is known as the series combination of springs, this is definitely the series combination of springs. In this case, extensions in the springs are different, but the force in the spring is same. The force in the spring is same. That implies this F1 will be equal to F2. Do we all understand this? Can I have some raised hand that gives me the confidence that we have understood this? What we have understood? That forces in both the spring are same, but the extension in both the springs are different. Do we all understand this? Can I have some raised hand that I understand this? Raise hands from everyone in the class. In the offline class as well as in the online class, do I have an agreement here that we have understood this? Okay. Now there is a simple question that I have to ask, and I would prefer that someone gives me an answer for this one. What is the value of F1 and what is the value of F2? What is the value of F1 and what is the value of F2? Can anyone tell me what is F1 and F2 equal to? F1 is the spring force in the spring 1 or force in spring K1. F2 is the force in the spring K2. What will be the value of F1 and what will be the value of F2? That is my question. Anyone can give me an answer to that? Anyone in the class? Can I have an answer for this question? What would be F1? It is very simple, you know it. The answer is, in fact, right now on your screens. You can see that answer. You just have to put the values and get it right. What will be F1 and F2 here? What will be the value of F1 and F2 here? No one? Try. I'm waiting. Okay. F1 will be equal to K1 into X1. I'm not writing the negative sign. Negative sign is only for the direction. I'm only looking for the magnitude here. F1 will be equal to K1 into X1. F is Kx, simple. So F1 will be equal to K1 into X1. Yes, Sabiram, you are absolutely correct. F1 is K1 into X1 and F2 is K2 into X2. So basically what I'm telling you over here is K1 into X1, K1 into X1 is equal to K2 into X2. Do you all understand this? K1 into X1 is equal to K2 into X2. If these two things you can remember, you are through with your springs. The questions that you are going to get in springs, you are through with those questions. K1 into X1, which is F1, talking about magnitude, not about a direction. So I've not written the negative sign. K1 into X1 is equal to K2 into X2. That is the first thing that you remember. K1 X1 is equal to K2 X2. That is the first thing that you remember about series combination of springs. K1 into X1, F1 is equal to K2 into X2, F2. That is the first thing that you remember. The second thing that you must remember is X1 plus X2 equates X. If you can remember these two things, well, you are okay and you are done with the series combination of springs. But wait, there's one more very interesting thing that you must remember about this. I'll give you a minute first of all so that you can note this thing down, whatever I've written on the board right now, because then I'll need to scroll down and add something else. So I'll give you a minute. If you have any doubt, you can ask. I'll just note it down. I hope everyone is noting it down, utilizing the time correctly. Yes? Anyone with any doubt? I just hear voices. I don't know whether my head is spinning or something else. Has everyone noted it down so that I can move ahead? Okay, I think you have noted it down, everyone. Why am I hearing these voices? Is anyone trying to speak? Hello? Anyone wants to speak? I'm getting these voices from this. I'll just stop this. Okay. So I hope you have written it down. Now, coming on to the next point, which is the most important point here in this discussion. We have seen that two springs are attached like this, one after the other. Spring constant K1 and K2. We have also seen that they don't have the same extensions. X1 and X2 is equal to X, but they have the same forces. F1 is equal to F2. K1 into X1 should be equal to K2 into X2. Now, if we get two springs like this, attached like this, now instead of thinking them of as two springs, instead of thinking of them as two springs, we can actually think in this way that they are not two springs, they are only one spring. So what I have done here, instead of these two springs, I have just put one spring. Now, we are doing it for two springs, but it can be done for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 springs put like this, I can remove those 6 springs, and I can just put one spring in place of them. Right now, I'm doing only 2. It can be done for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. So now I can, since I've understood how this spring works, I've understood that displacements are different, but the force is same. Keeping that thing in mind, I can remove these two springs and imagine only one spring in place of those 2 or 3 or 4 springs. And now this spring has a different spring constant. We call it K equivalent. I can also call it K series. So Ks or K series. Spring constant of the series spring. Or in place of 2 springs, I put 1 spring. The spring constant of that spring, K series. Now, I'll not go into how it's derived. I can derive it in 2 minutes, but that will not help. That will not serve any useful purpose. When I remove these 2 springs and put 1 spring in place of that spring, what is the spring constant of that spring? That is the only concern that we have. So the formula for this is 1 by Ks or 1 by K equivalent will be equal to 1 by K1 plus 1 by K2. This is how you can find out the spring constant of this equivalent spring. Why it is known as series combination? If you go into series and parallel, and if you go back to your standard 10th, you might have series and parallel combination of resistors, where 2 resistors, if they are put one after the other, they are in series combination. If they are put in this way, they are in parallel combination. This is exactly same as that one. Instead of thinking K1 as a spring, you can think of K1 as a resistor. Instead of thinking K2 as a second spring, you can think of K2 as a resistor. So these 2 resistors are in series. What is the equivalent resistance? In that case, the answer is R1 plus R2. In this case, the answer is the ulta of it. 1 by K equivalent or 1 by K series is 1 by K1 plus 1 by K2. In fact, I can extend this formula for an infinite number of resistors. So how do I write it? I will write with 1 by K equivalent or 1 by K series will be summation of 1 by Ki, I starting from 1 to n. That basically means 1 by K1 plus 1 by K2 plus 1 by K3 and so on. This is what you need to remember in the series combination of springs. Most of the cases you will only have 2 springs to deal with. But you know, anything can happen in the examination hall. You can have 3 springs or 4 springs or 5 springs. You never know. Do you all understand this? The series combination of springs. Can I have some raised hand that we understand this, sir? The series combination of springs. If I have 2 springs attached one after the other, I can replace those 2 springs by one single spring, and the spring constant of that spring 1 by Ks or 1 by K equivalent will be equal to 1 by K1 plus 1 by K2 plus 1 by K3 plus 1 by K4 and so on. I'll give you a minute to write this. If you have any doubts, you can ask. I hope you have noted it down. That was the series combination of springs. Now, the natural question is, if I have a series combination, I must be having a parallel combination. Parallel combination. What is a parallel combination of springs? Natural question. Natural question has a natural answer. So, now the scenario is different. I'm only putting 2 springs, but could have put more than 2 springs also. In this case, the springs would be connected like this. The springs would be connected like this. If I call the upper wala spring as K1 and the niche wala spring as K2, K1 and K2 are the 2 springs attached like this. And let us assume that I have moved, okay, wrong color. I must choose a color, different color. If I moved this block by X, again, I'm extending it just for simplicity. I have extended it by X. Give me your thoughts. 2 things we have to discuss. What about the force in the springs? What about the force in the springs? And what about the extensions or compressions in the spring? What do you think would be same and what do you think would be different? Let us talk about the extension or compression first of all. I moved a block by X. How much does the K1 wala spring move? And how much does the K2 wala spring move? Your thoughts? That's simple. There is no physics here. This is just common sense. How much does the upper wala spring moves K1 and how much does the niche wala, the downward spring moves K2? Your thoughts? Anyone? From the offline class, from the online class. I think you have a mic in the offline class. You can use that. Anyone can tell me how much does the two springs move? Do they move same? Do they move different? No one has an answer to this? Well, Abhiram says that they move same, sir. Yes, Abhiram, you are absolutely correct. They cannot move differently. They have to extend by the same amount. So they would both extend by x and x. So as you can see, everything is same. They all extend by the same amount. That is the only thing possible. So the extensions or compressions are same. They all extend or compress by the same amount. X1 will be equal to X2 if I call them by X1 and X2. Why would I call them by X1 and X2 if I can simply call them by X? Because they are all equal to X. So everyone, I'm only talking about two springs here. There could have been more than two springs. They extend by the same amount. Is it clear to everyone in the class that they extend by the same amount? Do I have an agreement here? Can I have some raise hand that I can see? Yes, sir, it's very evident. They will extend by the same amount. From the class, online students, Tanu, Pravina, are we there? We understand this? Great. Now let us talk about the forces in the spring. Let us say the force here obviously will be pulling force. It will be pulling it backwards, F1, and the force in this spring is F2, the green one. What do you think will be the relation between F1 and F2? Are they going to be same? Remember, in the series combination, they were same. Are they same here? Are they same here? Oops, wrong color. Are they same here? Here extensions are same. What about the forces in the spring, the blue one? Are they same? And the answer is definitely forces are not same. Forces are different. Forces are different. That means F1 and F2 are not same. They are different. Now the question is, what is the value of F1 and what is the value of F2? What is the value of F1 and what is the value of F2? Again, I'm not looking at the signs. The value of F1 will be K1 into X and the value of F2 will be K2 into X. Do we all understand this? That the forces are different. F1 shall be equal to K1X and F2 shall be equal to K2X. So far, so good? Clear? Is there any doubt here? Now, the point is, can I replace them by a single string? And the answer is yes, beta. You can replace them, these two springs, by a single spring. Both of these springs, instead of both of these springs, I can just put a single spring. I can call the spring constant of that spring as K equivalent, or since this is parallel, I can call it KP, KP, KP. K standing for spring constant, P standing for parallel, KP, parallel, spring constant in the parallel combination. I'm writing it as point number 3. What will be the value of KP? KP will be equal to K1 plus K2 in this case. The equivalent spring constant in parallel combination would be equal to K1 plus K2. In fact, if I have more than two springs, I can write Kp as summation of Ki, I going from 1 to n. This is known as the spring constant of the equivalent spring. Am I clear? Do I have some raised hand that we understand this? Spring constant of the equivalent spring. This is known as parallel combination. I'll give you 2 minutes to note it down. Note it down. If you have any doubts, please come up. Well, I think you have noted it down. So let us move on to the next step. The next step is an important point that you must remember. Remember, important point about spring and spring constant. Spring constant K is inversely proportional to spring constant K is inversely proportional to the length of the spring L. That is, K is proportional to 1 by L. K is proportional to 1 by L. Okay. What does that mean? What does that mean? An example, if a spring, I hope everyone is there. If a spring is cut into half, so I have a spring K, whose spring constant is K. I cut this into 2 springs. 1, 2. I cut it into half. K1, K2. Now I get 2 springs, K1 and K2. I cut it into half. बीच में से काट दिया, cut. I cut it into half. If I cut it into half, the spring constant of the other 2 springs that I create, this K1 and this K2, will be inversely proportional to the length. That means the original spring had a spring constant of K. K1 spring has a length half of that K. What will be the spring constant of the spring? And what will be the spring constant of this spring? It is inversely proportional to length. If I cut into half, The spring constant of this spring becomes 2k, 2 times of k, and the spring constant of this spring becomes, since it is half also, it also becomes 2k. So basically I double the spring constant when I cut the spring into half. Will you remember this, everyone? Can I have some raise hand that we understand this, sir?
Yes, sir.
Spring constant is inversely proportional to length. I'll give you a question on this. I hope you have noted this down. So I'll give you a question on this. And the question is pretty damn simple. You have to tell me this. Question number 1. A spring of spring constant K is cut into 2 parts in the ratio 1:2. So I've cut spring to 2 parts. The length is in the ratio 1:2. I hope you understand it. Simple maths, simple physics, simple question. Spring is there. I cut it into 2 parts. The ratio of lengths is 1:2. Find the spring constants Ks. Find the spring constants. I'll just not write it like this. I'll just write it. Find the spring constants of the new springs. I have 2 springs now. I have 2 springs now. Can you all tell me what is the spring constant of the new 2 springs that I've created? Remember, they are not of the same length. They have been cut from the same spring, but the lengths are in the ratio 1:2. 1:2. 1:2. Waiting for your answers, giving you a minute. I hope you are trying the question. I means everyone. Anyone with an answer? 2K and 4K. I don't think that is the correct answer, beta. You tried, Aviram. Good. Think again. Let me help you out. I'll give you one more question after this. Probably you can solve that. Stay happy then. Solution. So if I say that this is my original spring, whose spring constant is K, and let us suppose the length is L. I've cut the spring into two parts. This is spring K1, whose length is L1. This is spring K2, whose length is L2. I know that L1 plus L2 is equal to L. Length, if I add the length of two springs, I'll get the length of the spring. And L1 by L2, the ratio is 1 by 2. These are two very simple equations that can be solved, and I can get the value of L1 and L2 very simply. I leave that to you. I leave that to you. I leave that to you. Solving these two equations, you can get the value of L1 and L2. I can tell you by experience that L1 will be equal to L by 3. L1 will be equal to L by 3, and L2 would be equal to 2L by 3. So I get the length of the new springs in terms of the original length. One spring would be of the length L by 3, and the other spring will be of length 2L by 3. How did I get this? By solving these two simple equations, equation number 1 and equation number 2. Do we all understand this? Can I have some reason that we understand this? Now I know the concept. The concept of solving this question is K is inversely proportional to length. So now the original spring had a length L and had a spring constant K. The original spring had a length L and spring constant K. I have created another spring out of it. I have created another spring out of it, whose length is L1. And this L1 I know is L by 3. So now I have a spring of length L by 3. Original spring was K, length was L, K and L, K and L, K and L. So I can write it like this also, or K into L is a constant. Maybe that will make more sense for you. K into L is a constant. K into L is a constant. So I had original spring of length L and spring constant K. So I write the equation here. K into L, original spring. Let me use a different color. That would make it more better. Let me use a red color. K into L, the original spring into original length, shall be equal to K1 into L1, and L1 is L by 3. So I just write L by 3. Cutting the obvious part out, that is L out, I will get the value of K1, and the value of K1 would be equal to how much? Now you can tell me the answer for K1. What will be the value of K1 from this equation? Anyone? K1, yes, beta, would be equal to 3 times of K. That is correct. If that is correct and you have understood it clearly, can I now hope and expect that you should be able to tell me the value of K2? Remember, L2 is 2L by 3. L2 is 2L by 3. All of us know this. Can you now tell me what will be the value of K2? K2 is the spring constant of the second spring, and the length of the second spring is 2L/3. Can I have your answers for K2? To find the answers for K2, what you got to do is original spring K into length L will be equal to the new spring K2 into the new length. The new length is 2L/3, cutting the obvious part out, which is L length. You should be able to tell me the value of K2. And what is the value of K2? What is the value of K2? K2 will be 3K/2. Do we all understand this? Do we have an understanding of how this is done? Spring constant of a spring is inversely proportional to its length. We have just put that concept into a very nice principle, very nice way, and we have found out the spring constant of the spring. Do we all understand this? Can I have some reason that we understand this? No one understands this? Shall I repeat? I've cut the spring into two parts. They're in the ratio 1:2. I call one as L1. I call the other one as L2. The first step is L1. I'm shadowing it. Equation number 1, L1 plus L2 is equal to L. That is equation number 1. Equation number 2 is I have given the ratios L1/L2 is equal to 1/2. I solve this. I get the length of spring as L/3 and 2L/3. Then I simply put the concept that K into L is a constant, and I get the value of K1 as 3 times K and K2 as 3 times K/2. That is as simple as it gets. You can get a question on this straight away in your NEET exam, and that is why I have done it. Even though it was not a part of this chapter, probably a part of the chapter on spring constant, but it doesn't matter. If I'm teaching you springs, I'll teach you everything that you should know about springs. So I'll end today's class here, today's lecture here on this note that we are dealing with springs. We'll do 1 or 2 questions on the parallel and the series combination of springs as well. That would be in the next class, and I think your next class will be on Saturday. So we'll do that on Saturday. We'll wind this part off. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. I'm here. Else, the class is a wrap from my end. The class is dismissed. If you have any doubts, ask me. Else, have a nice day and study hard. Take care. Bye-bye.